How's it going, everybody? I'm Poirier, the founder of Galaxy Design, and I am here to bring you guys another episode of the 5 series. If you guys watched last week's video, then you got some really great tips that were all about printing, and I hope that those tips save you guys some money in the long run. But in this video, we're gonna do something different. We're gonna cover the other side of the design world. Instead of talking about printing this week, we're gonna cover digital design. Now, why did I want to make a video all about digital design, as that is the cornerstone of my business? Some people might think that I don't want to give away my secrets, but I'm not that type of guy, and that's not how I really look at things. I would rather share some tips and help generate some more interest around design, and there are 2 groups of people who I really want to help in this video. The first group is those entrepreneurs who are just starting out and they just need some basic design, some basic assets to get their business off the ground. And I realize that you don't always have a whole bunch of money when you're starting out to go out and hire a professional graphic designer. You just need some basic stuff that you can make on Canva. So I'm gonna give you guys some tips that's going to help you out a little bit there. The other group of people who I really think will be interested in this video are those people who are thinking about getting into graphic design as a career, and I'll give you guys some great tips here and I'll help you get off the ground, and hopefully one day I can even hire you as a freelancer, you know, if you're good enough. So the first tip that I want to get into here, guys, really has to do with the file size of our images that we are going to be using online. So when we're creating images, creating graphics that are going to be used online, we really have to think about the file size, because as we know, larger files take a lot longer to load. And there are really 2 reasons why that can be a bad thing if we have files that are too big, too high res, taking too long to load. The first one is from a user experience perspective. So when we think about someone going to a website or a web page, really anywhere on the internet, whether it's on Facebook or a blog or whatever, this rule always stands. If they're waiting too long for that website to load, they're just gonna leave. They're not gonna stay there and watch your content or read anything that's on your site, and they're not gonna tell other people about your site, and they're not gonna help generate traffic. So when we are optimizing our images for online use, we're really thinking about those people who are visiting our website who can spread the word. The other group of people who we should be thinking about, they're not really people, they're essentially bots that Google sends out to help rank websites. And this is how your website is going to end up on Google, and it's going to determine what page of Google it ranks on. Well, part of that determination is the fact that your website loads quickly. So if you want Google to rank your website well, you have to ensure that that website is loading quickly. One way to do that is to optimize the images that you've designed on that web page. So just keep in mind, guys, when we are designing for online use, we want to be very aware of the file size of our images. And we don't have to be quite as concerned with resolution as we were with printing. Basically, you want to find that sweet spot where you have enough resolution that the images are going to look good on like a big computer monitor, but not so high resolution that they're going to take a super long time to load and create a bad user experience or lead to bad search engine optimization. So I hope that we've driven that point home. Okay, so tip number 2 is to look up the most recent standard size for any asset before you create it. So whether you're making a profile picture or a banner or just a post for social media, make sure you know what the dimensions are supposed to be. And this might seem incredibly obvious, guys, but this is something that has frustrated me many times throughout my career as a graphic designer, because the standard sizes for these assets are different across all of the platforms, and they actually change pretty often. So don't just think that you know that a Facebook post is supposed to be the certain dimension. Make sure that you actually go and look it up. Again, it seems super simple, but it's going to save you a lot of time in the long run. Okay, so my third tip here is to test your designs. Don't assume that just because a design looks good on your system and on your platform that it's going to look good everywhere. right away when I make a design, I upload it on the platform that I'm going to use, and then I check it on all types of different devices. I check it on cell phones, tablets, send it to other people, have them look at it. And you need to make sure that it's actually going to look good and that all of the really important information is going to be present no matter which device it's viewed on. A really easy way to do this, within Google Chrome, there's actually a way where you can go in and change the device preview for a website, web page, whatever it is. That can be a really good way to find out how your image is going to look across all different platforms and all different devices. It's super important that you guys do that if you want to look professional. Okay, so speaking of tips that are going to save you guys a lot of time and trouble, tip number 4 here is save a working file. And I'll tell you guys right now, you might finish your beautiful design, you might consider it perfect, and you might think that you can just save it as a PNG or a JPEG as a final file and move on. But I'm telling you guys right now, that is not the right approach. There has pretty much never been a situation in my entire design career where I've completed a design, saved it, and then it was just done forever and I didn't have to go back in and edit it. So guys, please make sure that you save a layered working file, whether you're in Photoshop, Illustrator, whatever it is, you will be able to save a working file so that later on you can go back in there and make some changes. It's super important, guys, and it's going to, again, save you a lot of headaches. Okay, so the 5th and final tip here, guys, is to use SEO friendly titles. Basically, once you've got that perfect design, you want to make sure that you give it a perfect title. And this is something that is incredibly often overlooked. People don't realize that it is really important what you're naming your images when you're putting them up onto your website, a web page, Twitter, whatever it is. You want to make sure that the title of that image reflects the actual contents of the image itself. So as we were talking about earlier, when Google is going through your web page, it can't really see the images. It can only see like the names and descriptions. So you want to make sure that when you are naming those files that you actually make it something relevant to the image itself. Don't just call it image 3, think that's good enough, and throw it up onto your web page. Make sure that you actually call it something that is relevant. So for me, if I have an image of myself and some of my designs, I'm not just gonna call that image 5 and upload it. I'm going to call it something like Toronto graphic designer Jared Poirier and his designs. That way, when Google looks at that image and it goes to rank me, then it is going to know that I am actually a good website to be serving for those search terms, and that's going to lead to more business. I hope that you guys got something out of this video. I hope that you learned something really valuable, and I hope that if you do plan to do a little bit of design of your own or get into graphic design, that you find it as rewarding as I do. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure that you subscribe to this channel. I'll be doing a lot more content over here that you guys don't want to miss. I'll see you guys later. I'm Toronto entrepreneur Jared Poirier, and if you've got a graphic design, website, or video content project that you've been fantasizing about, I'm the guy that can make it a reality. For more information, check out galaxydesigngraphics.com.